So, hi, professors and classmates. We A9, and our game is Dead Battery. The team contains Surya, Aaron, Wade, Tokey, Utsav, and Utsav. So, our game Dead Battery is a third-person isometric game that takes place in the robot factories in the distance feature. The player may play as a vampire robot who must defeat endless wave of undead robot enemies to survive.
So some of the main features that we have for our game is basically we have the player has three abilities. It can shoot projectiles, has a melee attack and a shield. Player can stand in sunspot to charge the energy meter, and sunspots are dynamic. Basically, what that means is they'll shrink, and in order to grow them, you will have to stand on the button. And we have two enemy types. One's ghost, and the other one is zombie. The zombie type has a melee attack, and the ghost has a projectile attack. And the enemy waves will gradually get harder. And so some of the new features that we added since the alpha presentation is we now have a shield ability that the player can use using spacebar. There is a button, as you can see over here, that controls the sunspot. We also added main menu, game over menu, and a pause menu, and a high score tracking system.
Okay, so I made the environment. I modeled and textured around 20 props. And the environment includes 8 enemy spawns, which are the red hallways that you can see around the level. 4 sunspots. You can see 2 big ones in front, and there's 2 ones also towards the back that are kind of hidden behind props. And also there are 2 buttons that control the sunspots in the middle. You can see the red glowing buttons. So what I was trying to do for the environment was to make it look like grimy and run down and dirty. And I think I succeeded in that. I was mainly inspired by the environments of Half-Life and also the test chambers of the Portal games.
So here we have the character models. So in the middle is the player character, who's this robot vampire. The design was inspired by the classic Dracula type vampire. I gave him the glowing red lines and the core where the heart would be, the lines where the veins would be, and textured the cloak to look like solar panels. So that's where he absorbs the sunlight, and that's where he converts the sunlight into energy. And I gave him a classic Mega Man style arm cannon. On the left we have the zombie enemy. Now the zombies are usually these very rotten and decayed corpses. So the zombie it's got all this rust on it. It's missing a jaw. Originally, it was going to be a bit more emaciated and skinny, but that model wasn't working for whatever reason, so we reverted to a more basic model. On the right, we have the ghost. Now, the ghost is less damaged and rusty on a surface level because it's less corporeal than the zombie. And and in gameplay, it has this kind of nice little glow to it that shows that it's more than just a physical being.
Most of the programming was done in C++, with some being done in blueprints. So some of the challenges we faced implementing some of the technical features was in, let's say, the isometric aiming and shooting with the mouse that dynamically controls sunspots, which gradually increase and shrink based on time and on the button. the range and melee AIs, where we have where each AI has a different follow pattern. So range AI gets up close, while melee AI put some kind of distance between them and the player. This adds more variety to the gameplay. The spawn system that gradually increases the number of spawns and the health of each spawn enemy character and their attack damage, the spatially interactable audio and the camera feedback to improve gameplay feel. So from the image, you can see that our game contains 4 main components. So that there is a spawn controller, AI controller, the player, and the HUD. So the spawn controller pretty much takes care of the spawning, which takes into consideration of locations, the spawn waves, and enemies. The AI controller contains both the AI, so it makes sure the AI has either is following the player or is attacking the player, and the player pretty much gets the user's input from the keyboard and mouse, and that is basically your UI that you see on the screen. So from a playtesting perspective, we got overall pretty good feedback. So our environment and character models were received pretty well, and the difficulty game was pretty much a bit spread out. So from the playtest, we learned that the players had a hard time aiming in our games. So we worked on improving it. We made it better and much more smoother, so it's easier to aim. And we also added a few special features that we mentioned earlier. So one of it was the shield, which allows the game to feel a bit easier. And we also added more animations to the player, which allows for smoother character movement. Yeah, so that was pretty much it.
Now let's take a look at our game. At the bottom left, we have our health bar and energy bar. Energy will increase whenever you shoot or melee attack, and it will increase when you stand below some spot. Aim, all you need to do is right click. It will highlight the ground with red, and there's a light attached to player's arm, which will help you guide your aim. You can see that the sunspots are gone. To deactivate them, all you need to do is stand on top of the button and it will be reactivated. The movement animation changes based on your aim. You can also sprint and get away from the enemy. To gain health, all you need to do is kill enemies. Killing enemies will give you health. The harder enemies you kill, the more health you will get. And the enemies will get harder as you progress through your wave. The wave number is denoted at the bottom right corner. The high score is in the middle top, and the middle left is your timer, how long you have survived for, and in the middle right there's your score. There's also a shield which will help you protect yourself from enemy attacks, but it will not activate when you're standing under the sun. As you progress through the wave, your enemies will become much stronger and they'll have more health. There's also a melee attack which kills the enemies instantly, but you need to get closer and time it perfectly to make it well. As you can see, we are at wave 6 and the game is very difficult than wave 1. And they have much more health now, but you'll gain much more health by killing them, so it's more rewarding and more challenging at the same time. We have a pause menu as well. And this is our game over menu, which shows our high score and our current score. Let's go back to the main menu. There's controls and some instructions to read. And there's our credit screen. So where we got the assets from and the dev names. So that's pretty much it.